He tried to erase her truth, but she had the receipts. Before we begin, if you believe in justice, truth, and standing up against corruption, hit that subscribe button right now. This is the Untold Struggles, where every voice deserves to be heard. Click the link in the description because what you're about to hear will move you. The morning light spilled over Sycamore Grove Apartments, a quiet neighborhood in Atlanta, Georgia, where dreams met rent notices. Inside apartment 3B, Tanya Reed, a hard-working nurse and single mother, folded her daughter's uniform while humming faintly to the radio. The sound of sizzling eggs mixed with laughter, her son Jalen's, as he scrolled through a cracked tablet, watching old basketball clips. Life wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. Tanya worked 2 jobs to keep this place. She'd always paid rent, sometimes late, but always honest. Her landlord, Mr. Carl Benson, a middle-aged man with sharp suits and sharper words, often made her life difficult. "You people always have excuses," he'd once muttered when she asked for a 2-day grace period. She never forgot that line. But this month felt different. Tanya had finally caught up on everything: rent, utilities, even groceries. She smiled, looking around their tidy little apartment. Then came the knock. 3 hard thuds against the door. When she opened it, Mr. Benson stood there with a cold smirk, holding a yellow envelope. "Benson, rent's short again, Ms. Reed. You know what that means." Tanya, confused. "Short? I sent the payment yesterday." Benson, "Funny. My system says otherwise. You're on notice for eviction." The paper hit her chest like a slap. "Tanya, there has to be a mistake. I've got proof right here." Benson, shrugging, "Then show it to the judge. I'm done playing accountant." He walked away, leaving her trembling. Jalen peeked from behind her, eyes wide. "Jalen, Mom, are we in trouble?" Tanya, forcing a smile, "Not if I can help it." The camera lingers on Tanya holding the envelope, the weight of unfairness heavy in her hands. Days passed, and tension thickened like the summer humidity. Tanya called, emailed, even visited Benson's office, every attempt brushed off. Her friend Aisha, a paralegal who lived downstairs, helped her pull records from the rent payment system. Sure enough, Tanya's bank statement showed the transfer, time-stamped and verified. But Benson had altered the receipt records he filed. The amount showed as $0. It wasn't just a lie, it was a setup. Aisha frowned deeply. "Aisha, he's doing this to force you out. You've been paying below market value since your lease started. If he evicts you, he can double the rent." Tanya, "He can't do that, can he?" Aisha, "He's counting on you not knowing your rights." Cue slow instrumental build, deep bass, cinematic strings. Tanya stayed up that night, combing through emails, payment confirmations, even old text messages from Benson acknowledging her payments. She put everything into a folder labeled Receipts. "If they want proof," she whispered, "they'll get it." Family, if you've ever been lied on, underestimated, or backed into a corner, hit subscribe right now. Because stories like Tanya's aren't just stories, they're survival lessons. Go to the Untold Struggles and stand for truth. The hearing day arrived. Tanya wore her nurse uniform, pressed, neat, and humble. Benson arrived in a tailored navy suit, carrying his briefcase like a trophy. His lawyer, a smug young man, leaned in with a grin. "Lawyer, this'll be quick. Single mom, no legal rep, we've got this." "Benson, let's make an example of her." Inside the courtroom, Tanya stood alone. The clerk called her name, and she approached the bench. Her hands trembled, but her eyes didn't. The judge, Honorable Mary Stinson, glanced between them. "Judge, Ms. Reed, you're being sued for non-payment of rent. Do you have proof otherwise?" Tanya took a breath. She placed the folder on the table. "Tanya, yes, Your Honor. I've brought receipts, bank records, and email confirmations. Every payment, every date, every word." She laid them out like cards in a high-stakes game. The lawyer looked uneasy. Benson's jaw tightened. "Tanya, steady, he told me I didn't pay. But here's my proof, every dollar, every month." The judge scanned the documents, then looked sharply at Benson. "Judge, Mr. Benson, your version of the ledger doesn't match her bank statements. Explain." Benson shifted, sweat beading on his forehead. "Benson, must be a system error." Judge, a convenient one. The courtroom murmured, Tanya, this isn't just about me, Your Honor. He's been doing this to others. I checked with 3 tenants, same issue. That's when the judge leaned forward. Judge, is that true? Benson's lawyer, Your Honor, we object. Judge, cutting in objection overruled. I want an audit of all records immediately. The crowd gasped. Tanya stood there, calm and resolute, the underdog finally standing tall. A week later, a whistleblower, Benson's former assistant, came forward. She leaked emails showing Benson instructing her to delete rent records and forge payment logs. Local news picked it up. Reporter, voiceover breaking news tonight. A landlord accused of falsifying rent records to evict tenants in a gentrifying area faces investigation. Tanya's phone buzzed non-stop. Messages poured in from neighbors thanking her for speaking out. But Benson wasn't done. He filed a defamation countersuit, claiming Tanya had damaged his reputation. Aisha groaned. Aisha, he's doubling down. You ready to fight again? Tanya, smiling faintly, he started a fire. I just learned how to stand in the smoke. Tanya, we fight with truth, not fear. The courtroom was packed again. But this time, Tanya wasn't alone. Dozens of tenants showed up, holding folders, files, and photos. When the judge entered, the tension was thick enough to taste. Judge, Mr. Benson, I've reviewed the new evidence, including your emails. It appears you deliberately falsified records. Benson's lawyer whispered frantically, but it was too late. Judge, sternly, your countersuit is dismissed. You will reimburse all tenants affected by your actions and face potential fraud charges. A stunned silence followed. Tanya exhaled. Tears welled, but she held her head high. As Benson was led out, his eyes met hers, full of disbelief that the woman he underestimated had beaten him with truth. Weeks later, Tanya and her kids moved into a new home, a modest place, but filled with peace. Aisha dropped by, smiling. Aisha, you really did it, girl. Tanya, softly no. We did. Every person who ever got pushed around and didn't give up, we did it. She hung a small sign by the front door. Receipts never lie. If this story moved you, if you believe truth always finds a way, like, comment, and share this video. And make sure you subscribe to the Untold Struggles right now at this link. Because these stories are more than entertainment, they're empowerment.